Christmas is a family time, and I was very happy to be able to celebrate Christmas with my own family, which has gotten smaller over the years. And on Christmas Day, as I went over to my brother's house, as I walked in Christmas morning, my adult nephew and niece were in the middle of an argument. Typical Christmas morning, right? In a lot of ways, my 20-year-old nephew and 30-something niece were exhibiting typical sibling rivalry. But on a deeper level, as I was listening and definitely did not say a word, they were arguing about their place in the family. My sister-in-law died a couple years ago, and they were still negotiating how they fit into the new relationships with the death of my sister-in-law. And thinking about how people fit, maybe think about a time when I was teaching medical ethics in Zimbabwe and went to St. Anne's Hospital, which is the big Catholic hospital in the middle of Harare, and attended a family care conference there. Now, I imagine many of you have had to deal with family care conferences in the United States. When I walked into the room, there were 40 people. Not typical in our country. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, second cousins, third cousins, and I think there were probably maybe some fourth and fifth cousins, I'm not positive, but all were deciding what was going to happen to this young person. Now, after I got over my initial shock, I'd love to know I don't even know my fourth cousins, what I might say about my care. But what I began noticing is that everybody had a role to play. And some among those 40 people were definitely devil's advocates, trying to suggest that the matter of care was not the way that the family should go, and began wondering whether this is their place in the family or whether they just didn't like this person. But it seems that within Zimbabwe families, there are those assigned to be the negative people, to bring up the other side of the story. Each had their place, each played their role, and everyone seemed very comfortable about it. Everyone knew the place that they had. And then I began thinking about today's readings. I have to admit, I began thinking about today's readings before all that other stuff happened, but it all began to fit. As we look at each of these readings, we realize that possibly what's being talked about is where people fit. In my own family, where people fit in our immediate family. In Zaire, where people fit in the larger, extended African family. And in the readings, where do we fit in God's family? Look at what happens. As soon as Samuel is weaned, roughly about between 2 and 3 years old, he is taken from his family and is given to the high priest Eli. Is moved at such a young age from his own family to see what it means to be part of that family of priests at service to the temple. Jesus, at 12 years old, is looking for his place in the family. Not the family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, not even the family of the extended family walking back and forth to Jerusalem, but the family of God. Did you not know I need to be in my Father's house? how do we understand ourselves in that larger family, or the family of God? What does it mean to have our place in that larger family, or the family of God? John tells us, and he tells us very simply, we don't have to find our place. We don't have to struggle to figure out where we belong. Each and every one of us is a beloved daughter or son of God. The very first words of today's second reading, you are the beloved children of God. And what God has in mind for you is so amazing you can't even figure it out. That's what John tells us. That's what it means to be a member of the family of God. To be a beloved daughter, to be a beloved son. To be something that we don't have to figure out about, to be something that we don't have to strive to get. We are simply God's beloved children. But what might that mean for us in our other relationships? In our family, in our extended family, in the family community of city or state or nation? I think it gives us the courage to take the risks we need. The risks we need to be reconcilers. To be reconcilers in our own families. Maybe I should have said something to my niece and my nephew on Christmas morning. How are we reconcilers? To take the risk we need to speak truth to power in our own civil society. To have the courage to stand up for what is God's own vision of the world. To be comfortable enough in who we are as that beloved daughter or son to tell the truth. If we are allowed to take those risks, if we allow ourselves to take those risks, I believe, then those last words of the gospel apply not only to Jesus, but apply to us individually and as a community. That each and every one of us and all of us together will grow in grace, will grow in favor, will maybe especially grow in wisdom before God and others as we advance in age. May God bless us all.